Hi, my name is Mike Bergeron, and I'm here with Kike Benego, Paolo Basilico, and Andrew Gordon, and for representing Tecnopoint, BlackTrax, and Brainstorm, respectively. And together with Panasonic, we put these technologies together to put together the smart studio that we're showing here at NAB. And we're gonna go through briefly what we're showing there, talk a little bit about these three companies, and then we can maybe get some questions from the audience if anybody has questions of what they've seen so far. So first of all, what are we looking at? It's the studio over there. We're employing all these technologies along with together with Panasonic to deliver a partially or entirely animated studio with a lot of sophisticated camera moves. The idea is to add a lot of production value without having to really blow up the budget so much, and that's really what we're trying to deliver here. And what we're the things that we're showing are achieving a scalable and distributed architecture with Panasonic switching, and then to achieve more camera angles and more sophisticated camera moves, and that's where a lot of our friends here come in. And what we're showing over there in the control room is the live production suite is Panasonic's new switching platform, Brainstorm, BlackTrax, and Tecnopoint. And so I guess we'll just go across the room and we'll talk about, we'll start with Tecnopoint, and we'll let Paolo say a few things about Tecnopoint before we continue.
Developed a system to move the PTZ from Panasonic because in the last years the quality of the picture of this PTZ is getting better and better, and the last one, the 150, is really interesting because it's a 4K camera, and it has a very good quality of the video signal that can be absolutely matched with the standard camera. What this camera need, it has to be moved. So as we produce dollies and columns from many years, we think to introduce in the market a special line of products, and this products is family name is tuning. So the tuning family is a products that can let the PTZ moving with the column, with the dolly, and with the column on the dolly. Doing this, we develop a dedicated software that is very sophisticated and the state of the art, because the operator can easily store pictures and movement as with the professional broadcasting robotics equipment. More than this, as everything is plugged with the computer, any data is going over IP, and it was not easy, but it was possible to interface the movement of the camera with the BlackTrax and with Brainstorm. So what you are watching here, and the Panasonic call this situation Smart Studio, is a system that give the possibility to have camera movement in the automatical way and in the live way with the auto tracking from them. So we are very proud to be here with this performing demonstration, and I feel that all the visitors are very satisfied and impressed about the result.
Well, thanks, Paolo. And Andrew, could you tell us how the BlackTrax is tied in with everything?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I mean, you say a little something about BlackTrax as well.
Absolutely. So I'll start off with saying a little bit about what BlackTrax is. BlackTrax is the real-time tracking solution that you see on the stand, but where it really is core is we are all about connections. We absolutely thrive in connections. We're not just data being sent out, but we are enablement. for things like automation, for connecting with Tecnopoint, for connecting with Brainstorm. So what's happening on the stand is you're seeing the BlackTrax being used on the talent. We are monitoring exactly where the talent is and sending that data out. We're sending it to one of our systems for camera control, where we're able to work with Tecnopoint to not only affect the dolly, but also affect the position of the PTZ, the framing, and also the movement of the camera depending on that location of the individual. From there, at the same time, that data is also going to our friends at Brainstorm, where we're also allowing them to piggyback on the location data in 3D space to create augmented reality elements. And then just to throw an additional element into it, we also have the studio lights. The robotic lights that you see on the right side of the studio are also completely automated and locked onto a couple of our actresses. So all in all, BlackTrax is about automating and also enabling your studio to the next level.
All right, thanks, Andrew. And you can tell us about how the data that we're getting specifically from the PTZ cameras and Tecnopoint and BlackTrax is able to drive the Brainstorm.
Yes. Brainstorm is a company, as you know, it is 25 years in the market, making virtual sets. And I think right now we are in a point that we can do really cool things. Why? Because with the systems like BlackTrax or the systems like Panasonic and Tecnopoint, we can connect all together. What that means that we have allows, with this technology, we can allow us to create something very cool things, right? Because I remember that in the past that kind of things we cannot do it. You have only just a movement of manual pan head. But right now, we have the capability to move, to receive data from the trackings like Tecnopoint or tracking like BlackTrax. What is very interesting for us? The very interesting for us is that we can interact with the elements, because one of the very worst thing of the virtual is sometimes you cannot interact. With BlackTrax, we have the capability to have one point and interact with this point to do anything that you wanted. It doesn't matter if it is VR or AR. So that is very interesting things, because at the end, what the people expect to see is something interacting with the elements. And the other thing which is very important, it is how can interact with these elements. For example, with the case of the Tecnopoint, it's very interesting because we receive the signal from this head, and also we can send the signal from this head. And the combination of both worlds, it is very, very interesting. This is because it's a new key point in the VR and also in the AR.
All right, thanks very much. So I also want to point out that what's putting all this together and driving the screens that you see is a bit of innovation as well, and that is the live production suite, and that is a mixed SDI and IP SMPTE 2110 switching system, which is taking all these inputs and driving all the screens you see. We have quite a few screens out there, and as well as the projection system up there. Now, what's unique about this switching platform is that it's modular, which enables us to scale it, but it also enables us to mix SDI and IP in the same switching and have the ability to switch those out as the production grows to need more inputs or to switch from SDI to IP. And that's something we're also showing and involved in that. So what we're seeing on the screen there, this is sort of an early version of this, where we're doing it with just one module. The fully modular system will bring to market in the fall. But this is the system that we're doing is kind of a mixed gateway that's taking SDI and IP from the Panasonic 8K ROI camera, which we'll also mention, as well as the PTZs on the dollies and the risers, and an UC4000 as well. Okay, so another thing we're doing is creating more camera angles. Part of this is because we're using the dolly tracks, we can fit more PTZs in the room, and with the riser we can get them into more positions for good camera moves. But also because I'm using the 8K ROI, that's one camera, that can create four different views, because we have a wide shot there that's shooting the whole view. And the way that those views are controlled, we're showing a joystick control, but also those can be controlled by any kind of automated system. And in the case of what we're showing today here, that two of those camera angles are being driven by the BlackTrax system, and the others are driven manually. Now, the other thing that we can do when we combine BlackTrax with Tecnopoint and the PTZ, we're able to. You'll notice that we're having camera moves of the dolly and the totem, as well as PTZ that are tracking both the models on stage and also some of the bricks by following the totems there. And then when we put all that together, and here's the combination controller for manual control. But all that data feeds the Brainstorm system, and since we know where everyone is and we know where all the cameras are, it's possible to do the AR with the Brainstorm system. And part of that is, and I should mention that the PTZ camera, the UE150, is supporting the 3D protocol. And the 3D protocol is something that this whole system is supporting, and all the camera moves and the totems and everything are working with the 3D, and that's what's making it so seamless for Brainstorm to be able to insert augmented reality elements into that screen. And the same with the tracking. And the same with the floor track as well as the ceiling track, which you'll see. And so you'll see the Tecnopoint and BlackTrax can all control the PTZ camera, and those moves send the 3D back, send the 3D to Brainstorm. And by the way, we're doing the same thing with the camera lighting as well, as we'd mentioned earlier. All right, so I'd just like to open this up to questions. We've got a lot covered in this, and I think the fact that we have so many screens there makes it quite a bit easier to understand. But I'm just wondering if anybody had any questions in the audience. Yes, yes, sir. I'll repeat it.
So the augmented reality.
Yes.
I can set this up on my Mac, bring in pictures, Can I read it back?
So all right. So the question was, if I set up with a few cameras and these types of systems in my garage, I could put together a system with augmented reality. And I'm thinking the answer is yes, but I'm going to throw it open to the group. I mean, is there anything stopping anybody from deploying this stuff in a new studio? Is this self-contained? Is there any other magic that we're not telling you about?
Yeah, hello? Yeah, for our part, doesn't matter if you want to make in a small studio or big studio, doesn't matter. So the size in that case doesn't matter. So that even if you have 3 or 4 cameras from my side, from our side, it doesn't matter. I think for the inside it's the same, and for the Tecnopoint side, I think it's the same, because at the end what we receive is the data that we receive from the trackings. So as soon as we have an LG45 in our system and we receive the network, the data, it should be enough.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to take the background with you. That you'd have to ship that. That'd be tricky, but.
Oh, but are you talking about a green?
Oh, you want to do a green screen as well?
Yes. So yeah, you can actually take that entire. It's just a matter of setting up in technologies like Brainstorm. But from our perspective, we're extremely scalable up and down. I mean, we've done a couple of square meters to hundreds of square meters. We've done entire stadiums of tracking. So obviously the places like this or a garage is no issue on our end.
I'm going to ask a question. How scalable? I mean, you mentioned that you've scaled up the BlackTrax to entire stadiums, but in terms of like the Tecnopoint, for how many cameras you could put in the system? I'm curious.
With this version of the software, we can control up to 10 cameras, and 5 of these 10 cameras can be on a track and on the dolly.
Okay, so with the system as it is, we could go up to 10
Then
cameras.
it's reasonable. We can do more, but the size that we have decided with Panasonic is this one, the standard.
Right. Okay. Right. And is there any limitation? I mean, on the augmented reality, I guess it's a processing.
No.
Or we just no.
No, well, I mean, of course, it depends on the processing. Yeah, we have limitation from the video board, from the video card. But with one single machine, we support up to 6 inputs at the same time, with one single computer.
With a single one. Okay.
With a single computer, we support up to 6 inputs at the same time. And in terms of BlackTrax, I don't know how many points can send us. We make a test. How is the test that we did in the last time? I think it was 10 points or 7. How many points?
Oh,
many? I
we
don't
did.
remember.
I think it was closer to 6 and 4 plus all the. We were closer to 50 points.
50 points.
Yeah.
50 points.
50
And that-
points
that doesn't
in
even
like the
remotely
beacons,
come
50
close.
beacons, or 50
Yeah.
things being tracked.
50 points within the beacons, and that's not even remotely close to how many points we can output to any system. I mean, we can go into the hundreds and thousands. Not sorry, hundreds and thousands, not hundreds of thousands.
I see.
Yeah.
So right, so you could get like 50 8K cameras, four views apiece, and
like where your
and
head's
drive them all.
Yes, but precisely, we could
Okay.
absolutely do that.
All right. Well, I think we're getting to the end of our time here, and I'd like to thank everybody. I know it's a little bit short notice, but I think this will be downloadable, so we'll find a link for it. And thank you very much.
Our pleasure.
All right. See you guys. Cheers.
Cheers.